Honestly, I was an actor in New York City, and then 9/11 happened, and so a lot of the acting jobs kind of dried up. I got attached to a day job, working at a desk and everything like that for a couple of years, and I had a creative itch that needed to be scratched. So I answered an ad in Backstage magazine for actors, and it was for an improv group. So we did the improv shows at a comedy club on 24th Street called New York Comedy Club, and a couple of times they just invited us to stay after our show to watch the stand-up comics, and I was like, nah, I can't afford the 2-drink minimum. One day, guys like, listen, I'll buy you drinks, just sit down and have a seat, just chill out. All right, cool. So I watched the show, and literally, like, I saw half the guys. I was like, I'm funnier than half these guys right off the top of my head. If I wrote some stuff down, I could probably do this. So started writing, and then a couple months later, I did my first open mic, and the rest, they say, is history. And I've been doing stand-up now for 13 and a half years. I'll be 14 in January. So. Nerve-wracking. It was the show I did the very first time I got on stage as a comic. I was at an open mic called the Tuesday Night Train Wreck with Joey Gay, and it was aptly named because it was like 60 comedians, and only a handful of them got on the show, but they're all sitting there judging you, going, hack material, or hey, what, writing your idea, why didn't I think of that, and they're all in their notebooks going, when's this guy getting off so I can get my 5 minutes, you know what I mean? So the great thing about that room, though, was you never really had a stellar set in that room, but the best thing about that room was if you got a chuckle in there, it was gold. It was gold on any other stage, but because usually you're not being judged by other comedians. So I actually still use some of those jokes today. Well, obviously the classics I grew up with was Eddie Murphy, Raw and Delirious. Also, later I got into Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, a lot of the black comics, and then Carlin is great. But like currently, I'd have to say my favorite comic is Bill Burr. I actually know him from working in New York for a while, and used to host a lot of shows that he was on. So he's not like a friend of mine, like a buddy, but we're we keep in touch and stuff like that. So he knows who I am, I know who he is. He's one of my favorite comics. I'll go with Bill Burr, yeah. I mean, because we're very similar, he and I. We come from a similar era, stuff like that. We talk about some similar things. I try not to, when I hear his material, I'll go like, shit, I got to drop that bit now, because it's something I was working on, it's something he's already perfected and stuff like that. But I love to tour with Bill because I think he's an interesting cat. I'd love to hang out with him and stuff like that. But just a lot of the theaters and stuff that he does is just these huge venues. I think it'd be super cool to perform at. Bill Hicks, probably Sam Kinison. That's two, right? Pryor would probably destroy me. So far, all three are dead. Let's go with some live guys. Well, no, because I gotta go with one more dead one. Is Greg Giraldo, and then live would have I'd go with Bill Burr. I mean, I guess I'm a fanboy now. I've mentioned him 3 times in one interview. So. Sketch-wise, I think the best thing I've seen in the last couple of 10, 15 years is probably the original Little Britain on BBC. The best thing about their sketches is that when they got to the punchline, they cut the sketch. That was it. The joke was done. They didn't try to belabor it. A lot of times on SNL, they hit a joke and then you just keep trying to go, and the sketch kind of teeters off. You know what I mean? A lot of times, I guess. Currently, the best thing on as far as sketch goes is probably Key and Peele. It's probably one of they picked up kind of where Chappelle left off. As far as comedy movies, I'd have to say the classics. Eddie Murphy stuff. Coming to America. I like a lot of the Robin Williams movies, the early movies. I can't even think right now, dude. I'm so tired. But what was the last movie I saw that was really funny? I can't even think of a movie that's funny right now. So, but I like a lot of classic stuff. I grew up on a lot of older comics too. Like I like Andy Griffith, Bob Hope. You know, started getting into those guys and just really. When I lived in New York, I actually used to go to the Museum of Television History, and you could pay like $10, $15 and go in and just watch movies and our old television shows from the beginning of television, since like the dawn of time, as far as television goes, back in the 50s, 60s, and stuff like that. So that was really a lot. I mean, I have so much in my head, I can't really pick, one particular favorite. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard question for me. Well, I come from an acting background, so I'd like to get into do some more sketches. In fact, I'm working on some stuff right now with a couple friends of mine that are into filmmaking, about doing some sketches and maybe putting together a webisode on YouTube or whatnot. So that's getting back into my acting roots. I think that's where I would like to go. I'm hopefully moving to LA to take it to that next level. You know what I mean? I've been in New York. I did 10 years in New York. Came back here because the economy was, kind of And then I got a lot of friends out in LA that are doing really well, so I'm going to go out there and try to, cash in on some favors. I like them to just, have had a good time. Just so that they, got away from reality for a little while. They weren't bogged down, in worrying about all the things that everybody worries about on a day-to-day basis, and we're just able to, laugh, have a good time, and forget about all the bullshit for a while. You can hit me up on my website is funduncan.com. It's got all my social media stuff there, but if you don't want to go to that website, you can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com / if you type in Fun Duncan, all one word, in the search engine on Facebook, all my stuff comes up. At Fun Duncan on Twitter, at Fun Duncan on Instagram, all that shit. Duncan Jay on YouTube. Hey, I'm Duncan Jay, and you can catch my interview on QtiePie.com.